welcome to Devil's Advocate. I'm Ben. I'm joined by Sean.
Hello.
As always, you just won't leave.
I know.
And today...
Well, you locked me out today.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a hint.
Yeah. You're like, get the hint. You just open the letterbox. Get the hint.
And today we're going to talk about Elisa Lam and the hotel. And I'm going to say this correctly.
Yeah.
The Hotel Cecil. It is not the Hotel Cecil. Netflix.
Well, that's what they call it.
I don't care.
That's what the hotel manager called it.
I don't care. I don't care.
You're like, I don't care, Americans.
It's spelled Cecil.
We created the language.
That's it.
You just use it.
The Queen would say Cecil, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and she
I'm
is
sure
the
she
ultimate
would.
authority on this. Because it's the Queen's English.
How is she the ultimate authority? Isn't she like, didn't you tell me she's like German or something?
Well, it's got to be. She's got to be the ultimate authority on it because it's called the
Yeah.
Queen's English, isn't it? So she's the Queen. It's her language.
Isn't she of German descent though?
Yes, but still, she's
You're
also head of the Church of England, and that doesn't stop anything, does it?
You're like, that doesn't matter.
Not that I really want the Queen to do anything apart from fuck off and leave all her money back to the public. But...
That's something I forgot to ask you actually. Are we calling this pod the Cecil Hotel, or are we calling it the Elisa, the disappearance of Elisa Lam, or what?
Well,
we didn't even discuss what we were going to call it.
No, I just put Elisa Lam in the Hotel Cecil.
We could call it Hotel Cecil.
Hotel Cecil, you mean? Yeah, well. The listener will know.
And the disappearance of Elisa Lam.
I think Elisa,
double barrel it.
I think Elisa Lam needs to be in the title somewhere.
Yeah, double barrel it.
We're talking about someone's life and death, so I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
And obviously, any sort of humor we make is not intended as a slur on her memory or anything like that, just in case anyone's getting offended. This is a tragic case.
Well, then again, on those douchebags, the what are they called? The web sleuths.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mock.
Yeah, we're gonna mock them.
We're gonna mock them
because they're douchebags.
But obviously, any humor that Elisa may feature into is not a slur on her memory at all.
No, not at all.
And this is a comedy podcast.
We make light of darkness, so we can get
yeah.
through it each day, one step at a time.
We're equal opportunity piss takers.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody gets some.
Yeah, we are literally just jumping on the bandwagon of this, though.
That's what we're doing this. We watched it last week and thought, you know what, I'd get us some listens.
Yeah.
If we can put hashtag Hotel Cecil in our title.
This is like,
that's what we'll call it.
What?
We'll just call it hashtag Hotel Cecil. Hashtag Elisa Lam.
Yeah.
Boom. That's the title. That's the first thing that's coming every. That's the first thing everyone's gonna type into a search engine.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's copyright us.
Yeah, it's like 6th or 7th on Netflix right now, isn't it?
It's been top for a while.
Has it been top?
When the day it came out, it was top. I think it was back to top the other day.
So we're just basically like riding their coattails.
Absolutely. So let's start with the Hotel Cecil.
Yeah, because that's just a mess in itself.
Oh, it was built in 1928 in an Art Deco style inside. I mean, inside the lobby is beautiful.
Well, it is now. I know they've upgraded it.
It was nice before. When they first built it.
It looked alright. It's
that Art Deco style. The lobby certainly anyway. The rooms look a bit shitty, but that's what it's evolved into.
And they've not aged well at all.
No. And that's mainly because the area it sits in now. I mean, it was a high-class place.
Well, yeah.
It used to be a high-class place.
Yeah, not even talking about the hotel, before we even start talking about the hotel, the fact that there's basically a slum outside the hotel. That's essentially what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, Skid Row. Downtown LA.
Yeah.
It's 50 blocks.
Yeah.
And the Hotel Cecil sits pretty much smack in the middle of it.
Which is a massive area. When it zoomed out, people need to watch it so they can see it. Zoomed out and it kind of showed you the blocks. Yeah. And it's a massive area.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's just literally tents of homeless people.
Slums and hovels and...
That's like, for homeless people, that's like their official residence. They're like, I've been here that many years, I bought a tent. Yeah. My mail comes here.
Yeah.
The level of poverty there is awful, and obviously that leads to drugs, crime,
prostitution. There's murders every day.
Yeah,
it is like a lawless area in one respect.
Yeah, when you're talking about like LA, it's probably like one of the highest sort of crime areas. I would imagine.
God, yeah. Basically, you've come out of a mental hospital, or you come out of prison, or you're just homeless in general. That's where you get either dropped off to or gravitate to.
If you're lucky and you've got a little bit of money in your back pocket, you can stay at the hotel for a few days. If you're not, you're on the streets outside the hotel.
This is where the hotel comes into effect, because nowadays it is, back then, nowadays the old area is being redeveloped and it's got a bit of grandeur back.
Yeah.
But back then in the 2000s,
even before, like when it was first built and stuff, they remember that they were interviewing that guy, and he said, you don't go up to the top floors. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
He was what, probably in his 20s back then.
Yeah, he'd come out of the so this is like 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he'd come out from Vietnam and was like
he was staying there. He said pretty much anything goes. He was a couple of dollars. It was like a couple of dollars a night or something
like that.
Could bring girls back there, just basically do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But he said you don't go up to the top floor because that's where all the big crimes happen. He said if you go up there and you're not one of the guys that's running it, you're getting thrown off the top of the building, so to speak.
Yeah, and a lot of people do throw themselves off the building.
Yeah.
Seems to be a bit of a suicide spot.
Yeah. And a murder spot.
So this is the thing, you've got basically this hotel, once grand hotel, crumbling into decadence and decay with the air, because the area around it and the people that are living there are homeless people who found a few dollars to spend a few nights. It's constant rotation of guests.
Yeah. Some guests were living there long term though, weren't they?
Yeah, well, for as long as they could afford it.
Yeah.
So you've got drugs, prostitution, murder, rapes, probably some nonsense going on.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez stayed there while he was committing his Night Stalker murders. Also watched that recently.
That's probably worthy of doing a podcast on at some point as well. We could have been last week. We should have done that. We could have been riding on the coattails of that as well. Man. Damn, missed an opportunity.
He stayed there. Another serial killer called Jack Unterwegen stayed there.
Yeah,
and it's led a lot of people to believe that the hotel might have some kind of supernatural bad energy, bad juju.
Yeah. Well, to put it into perspective about how dodgy this hotel was, is they actually said that at some point, what's his name, Richard Ramirez?
Yeah.
He was walking around, he just killed people, he was walking around, staying at the hotel in his underwear, covered in blood, and nobody batted an eyelash.
No one seemed to care.
No, they just saw him, like eyewitnesses saying
Ricky.
It. Yeah, hi Ricky.
Jason.
Yeah, no one cared.
Yeah.
That's the kind of hotel it was. That kind of puts it into sort of perfect view.
I always think like the movie Highlander.
Yeah.
Right? You know when the Kurgan goes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know when the Kurgan goes to that shitty hotel when he checks in New York?
Vaguely, it's been a long time.
Guy sat there and he's like, oh yeah, it's like $20 a week or something like that. And there's like, he goes, oh, you want anything, just call me. And he calls her a prostitute. That's you want crack, you want a prostitute, you can get one.
Yeah, probably. Whatever you want.
Yeah, and the staff don't seem to really give a shit.
No,
it's like it's lawless. Reading the manageress say, or the manager even, who I think was a little bit dodgy myself. If you watch the documentary,
she looks very, very nervous, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She would have been one of my key suspects just based on her body language.
Absolutely, and some of the questionable decisions she made regarding
some of the stuff she said.
Yeah.
Just what were you going to say about? I think I know what you're going to say, but go on, say what you're going to say.
She said she was walking down the hall one day, and there's a police sniper in the window.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You want to get out of this way? Who might have to start shooting in a minute?"
Yeah, and it was because someone was going around stabbing people.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Oh, okay. Get back in your room.
We'll just go the other way."
Yeah. I think he told her to get back in her room because I think she was staying at the hotel, and he was like, "You need to get back in your room because I may have to shoot someone in a minute." But yeah, she said something stupid like she was the manager there for 10 years, wasn't she?
She was.
And she said roughly about 80 people died in that hotel in 10 years.
Yeah, 2007 to 2017. 80 people died. That's 80 a year.
Yeah, on average.
That's suicide, drug overdose, murder. Sometimes maybe there's a couple of natural corpses in there. Murdered by ghosts.
You got to put that in. You never know. Possession.
Demonic possession.
Yeah.
You see John Constantine smoking going in the hallway. You're like, I don't know I really want to stay here, but I'm also really curious.
Yeah. Just reading off the desk. Oh, a couple of priests died. One thrown down the stairs, his neck twisted 360 degrees.
One crucified to a wall with nails. No one knows how he got up there. The room was locked from the inside. Who put the last nail in?
But yeah, some of the stuff she said was so sketchy. She was like, yeah, we would find people like murdered, suicide, they like have drug overdoses, slit their own throats. And I was like, you had multiple people in 10 years slit their throat. I mean, I know people do that, but It's very rare.
I know someone that tried to do it with a hedge trimmer.
Yeah, you told me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard of someone. One of my clients knows someone that tried doing it with a chainsaw.
Did that go better?
Well, I think they survived actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they kind of missed and it got stuck in the meaty part
How
of the
could
trap.
you miss your own neck?
Because it's shaking in it and you're trying to
I
bring it
suppose
towards
so.
you, and you just, instead of going across, you just went down and it got stuck in the bone.
Eesh.
Yeah. But
Well, yeah, that probably would heal quite nicely.
yeah, it looked cool as well. Cool scar.
Well, yeah,
Mental episode, I presume.
Mm.
But yeah, the idea that this hotel is so fucked up that not one, but at least multiple, because she said people, not person,
Yeah.
slitting their throat. The amount of either balls or craziness you need to slit your own throat for it to be multiple people, that is one fucked up hotel. Really
yes,
fucked
but
up.
is there something to do with
Demons and ghosts.
demons and ghosts? Does the building have cold riveted girders with cores of pure selenium, magnesium, tungsten alloys, and gold-plated bolts, like the apartment block in Ghostbusters?
I think
Is this hotel built? Was this hotel? I put to you, sir. Was this hotel built by Gozer worshippers to pull in and intensify spiritual turbulence?
shit, he's honest. Take the shot. Take the shot.
What?
Could be.
I'm happy with that answer, actually.
I mean, one thing I've learned in life is you can never rule anything out.
That's true. Stranger things have happened.
To be fair, the reason why this got so much attention on the internet, these annoying web sleuth dudes, whatever, and it's even got a Netflix thing. The reason why people are so obsessed with this is because it's such a weird circumstance that you can't
In a
rule
weird
out,
location.
you cannot rule out ghosts because it's just a really fucking weird scenario. I mean, I don't believe in ghosts, but you can't rule them out.
No,
It's fucking weird.
I don't believe in ghosts, and you know, but
It's
as you
weird.
say, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
creepy. So we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
So Elisa herself, 21 years old, Canadian, University of Vermont student.
Yeah.
Wants to go and have a bit of a visit, doesn't she? She wants to go and see the world. She's a bit of a nervous girl, a bit of a shy girl. She suffers with mental illness.
Yeah, she was recently diagnosed with bipolar, and she was struggling to comprehend the fact that she had such mental issues. She was on like what?
4 tablets.
Four
a day.
tablets a day.
I can tell you what they are.
Yeah,
if you
read them
like.
out. Read them out for the viewers.
Hold on a second.
Oh, I'm not prepared.
I am prepared.
He's like, I was prepared.
I'm completely
I thought this bit
prepared.
would come later on in the show.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's important for people to know she had bipolar. She was struggling with the acceptance of having bipolar. So what she was doing is it was kind of like a self-discovery journey, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm going
She
to
was
try and
posting on
figure
social
myself
media.
out. She massive. Tumblr was she used it like a diary, like a journal. She wrote blogs.
It was to come to terms with that, and this was kind of like her journey to come to terms with it. So, because she's young, and that's a big thing to find out. You know, you're probably going to have to take a ton of medication for the rest of your life. You've got, you know, bipolar and probably several other things that will later be discovered. So
yeah,
you're going to be on medication for life, and you're going to probably have some episodes here or there.
Yeah, I mean that's it. And there's actually 5 tablets she's meant to take a day. I hate drug names.
just guess.
Dexedrine.
Yeah.
There's actually a longer name. It's called dextroamphetamines. There's amphetamines in it. 2 10-milligram tablets. That's a stimulant prescribed for ADD and ADHD and narcolepsy.
Okay.
Lamictal, 100 milligrams of that as an anticonvulsant and mood stabilizer prescribed for epilepsy and bipolar disorder.
Which is for a bipolar.
Seroquel, 25 milligrams of that, which is an atypical antipsychotic prescribed for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and major depressive disorder.
So she didn't have the episodes.
Then there's Effexor or venlafaxine, which is an antidepressant prescribed for major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and social phobia.
So that one's to try and keep her level.
Yeah. And then there was Wellbutrin, 300 milligrams of this one, and 225 of the one before. Sorry. So big doses.
Yeah.
Atypical antidepressant prescribed for depression.
Yeah.
And smoking cessation.
Yeah.
My antidepressants don't stop you smoking.
Maybe you need to take more.
I don't think so. Apparently, I'm on quite a high dose. I was like, "What's that? Am I?"
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You're like,
So, yeah, you've only got one more increase, you know.
You just double them now, and you're like, well, it didn't stop me smoking, but I feel great. I'm top of the world.
Yes.
For some reason, it made me smoke more.
Yes.
Turns out smoking brings me happiness.
And also lung cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, she's been hit by this, and she must be thinking, well, your mind's all over the place, and you got these drugs to everywhere. She doesn't like taking them. She misses them. Like me, I'm not the best antidepressant taker.
Yeah.
She misses them
because there's something like deep down where people don't really want to have to take them.
I feel okay today.
Yeah, I feel okay today, and maybe you feel okay because you've been on the antidepressants, and then you come off of them. Maybe you don't feel okay, but then maybe you're like, well, it's my first day off, and maybe if I have a few more days, maybe I'll feel better in a couple of weeks. And it's almost like people convince themselves of this, and then they're off them for like a few weeks, and for her, that's not a good thing at all.
No, not if you're on antipsychotics.
No.
But she wants to go on this find herself trip around America, and her first stop is LA.
In the Cecil Hotel.
In the Cecil Hotel. Sadly, I mean, let's not say the whole thing is not a crack den. No. There are 3 floors. They did it out. It's called Stay on Main.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? They were trying to bring in like new, because the hotel was, it was failing, wasn't it? So they thought, let's attract all these hipsters that want to travel and see the world.
Stay in the middle of LA.
It
is in the middle of LA.
Yeah. Having a few years off from uni.
Yeah.
They're traveling around America, or maybe, coming from other countries and stuff and traveling around.
They don't know
America.
how shit this area is.
No. Well, that was it. There was 2 separate websites. There was the one where they were like branding them. They were the same building, but they were like, yes, it's 2 different hotels. One's the Cecil Hotel, and the other's, what was the other one
Stay
called?
on Main.
Yeah, and it was like really fancy, and it looked really nice.
It was modern, and they redecorated it all.
Well, all
they
they've
put
done,
bunk beds in.
Yeah, all they've done is put like a wall in the lobby.
Right down the middle of the reception.
In the lobby. Made one bit look really nice, made the other bit really shit, and then cut off 3 floors.
Yeah, which the guys who were staying in the top floors, who were, let's say, some of them are undesirables. Yeah. Not all of them.
Well, that was the thing. They were sharing the same lifts, weren't they?
They were sharing the same lifts. So they could, let's say there's a serial killing burglar on the top floor, and he knows a load of
ex-serial killer burglar. He's just got out of prison. He's done his time.
Or he's on the run.
Or he's on the run.
Right.
He's done his time.
So he decides, like, oh man, I need to kill.
Yeah.
I need to kill. I need that. I need to kill and jerk off over a corpse.
Fucking.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not with you, but yeah. Okay.
And he's like, and then he realizes that 10 floors below him, there's 3 floors of teenagers who can't defend themselves, and
well, I was thinking a little bit more PG than that. I was thinking,
right, were you?
Yeah, that these teens are basically traveling around. They're staying in
they've got money on them.
Yeah, they're traveling in what they perceive to be a fancy hotel, and then they get on this lift, and there's this tweaker stood next to him, shaking because he hasn't had drugs in 2 days, looking at this teenager with a fat wallet in front of them.
Yeah,
thinking, you know what? If I just maybe shove this kid, steal his wallet, I've got drugs for a few more days.
Yeah.
Maybe not as dark as murdering, but maybe he threatens him with a knife.
Give me your skin.
Yeah.
Give me your skin.
You go straight to peeling their skin off, wearing it as a mask.
Dancing around, bathed and smothered in blood like a newborn.
Yeah, this is going to be a dark one for you today, isn't it? The dark humor is out already.
It is. I'm just saying.
That's what the apology for at the beginning. You're like, I'm feeling dark today.
Yeah. Always cover your own arse. Number 1 rule of podcasting. I'll pass that on to you.
That's also your number 1 rule on the weekend, isn't it? When you go into those mysterious clubs of yours.
Just because, what? The ones where I wear the black robes to?
Huh?
The ones where I wear the black robes to?
Well, they're more like a tight leather.
Oh,
an assless chap.
Oh no, that's on a Thursday.
That's on a Thursday. That's a weekday thing.
That's a weekday thing, yeah.
How do you go to work after that? On a Friday? Is that why you've got today off?
Yeah.
Because today's a Friday.
Yeah, I'm doing some. Well, today was a bit of a
A recuperation day.
Well, it's more that it's like there was a lot of sex magic going on with
Oh,
the two
okay.
groups combined this week.
Okay.
And, you know,
Combined forces.
yeah, we thought, well, we've got the magic group, magic with a K, the Satanist group,
And the orgy group.
and the orgy group. So we just thought we'd combine the two.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because we needed to do some sex magic.
Like Transformers, but with sex orgies.
Yeah.
Sex cult orgies.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Combined forces.
Yes.
Do you sound like Optimus
Sex
Prime?
group orgies, combine!
Yeah, you sound like Optimus Prime. Combine!
Try to. It's all right, Optimus.
Oh,
One of my personal
we
heroes.
said today we wouldn't go off on big
I'm
tangents.
just saying, he's one of my personal heroes.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, freedom is the right of all sentient beings, Sean.
Yeah, it is.
Optimus said that.
He did, yeah.
Not some philosopher,
Yeah.
not Gandhi.
Optimus.
Optimus.
Yeah,
Died for our sins, he rose again.
he did. Like multiple times.
Yeah.
Each time better and more expensive than ever.
Yeah. That
New-
1986 movie, oh my God, what stirring cinema.
Yeah, it was dark.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Mm.
Anyway, so Elisa Lam is staying in this hotel for 3 days.
Yeah,
3 nights.
that was the plan.
She's sharing a room with 2 other girls.
I thought it was 3.
3 nights?
Was it 2 girls?
Anyway,
I
she's
thought
sharing
it
a room
was-
with some girls.
I thought it was like 2 lots of bunk beds.
Possibly.
So
then, yeah.
her and then 3 others. I could be wrong. Could be 2. But I know it is 3 nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was 3 girls.
Either way.
Yeah.
There's a number 3 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You've just blown me off my train of thought now.
That's what I do.
Because of her sort of little behaviour issues.
Yeah.
She started leaving little notes on the girl's bed she was sharing the room with.
Yeah, she was
Go
acting a little
away,
bit sporadic, wasn't
Go
she?
home. She came down to reception and sort of put her arms in the air and screamed out, "I'm crazy, but so's LA."
Yeah.
And while I can see that as being typical LA behaviour,
Yep.
maybe she's just trying to get in the spirit of it.
That's true.
Or maybe she was just off her meds. She's, I'm on holiday, I'm not taking my meds.
Yeah, I'm in a good place.
I'm in a good place, I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
She also used to lock the door so the girls couldn't get in.
Yeah.
And eventually, because of that, the hotel manager then moved her, because it was the last night of her stay at the hotel, moved her to her own room.
Yeah. It's weird though, isn't it? How the hotel manager and the girls there, their idea of her behaviour is very different to other people that interacted with her, because she went to the bookstore and the bookstore said she was really nice and lively and full of life, and they got on.
Was worried about carrying the books back to the hotel.
Really cheerful.
Yeah.
They had a really good experience with her. They remembered her.
That's it.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, if she's a sort of a timid girl, but she's got these issues,
Yeah.
mental health issues, and maybe she just didn't like those other girls. Maybe that part of them was just like,
Or they didn't like her.
or they didn't like her and they bullied her.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those girls, I don't know if those girls were ever questioned.
No, that would have been one of my things. Question them and question the manager.
Oh, the hotel manager.
Yeah, because she was sketchy.
So on on her last night, she gets her own room, but instead on her last night, she also vanishes.
Yeah.
No,
leading up to her vanishing though, she went to the bookstore. She came back. They questioned the lads that dropped off the book.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't carry all the books back home, could she? She also went to like a club, didn't she, and wrote a weird letter to the guy. Was it a club or a music venue?
Music venue.
Yeah,
maybe?
and she wrote the guy that was singing or performing or whatever. She wrote like some sort of weird message to him, and it was to the point where the bouncers actually felt nervous and actually escorted her out of the building, didn't they?
Yes, and this is one of the things why she may have been on drugs.
Yeah, because she was acting a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last bit of footage we have of her is in acting weird in the elevator, which that video is really weird.
Yeah.
And then she's just not seen her really again. She disappears.
So let's talk about the elevator video, because this is the last time she's seen.
Yeah.
So she goes into the elevator.
Yeah.
She presses the buttons. She hides.
She presses them. The guys that go to visit later on in the documentary say that she presses it, because they said, well, why wasn't the door closing? That was a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's because she pressed them in a way that it stalls the elevator.
Yeah.
So that proved why it didn't close, because everyone was like, oh, it's ghosts or anything. Could still be ghosts.
Ghosts.
But that's what caused it. It stalled it.
Now, there is a thing called the elevator game,
Okay.
which I wasn't aware of, but it's a thought that she might have been playing
Yeah.
this. Now, the elevator game is a creepy ritual It sees people visit a number of different floors in an elevator in their bid to get to a new dimension.
Oh, okay.
The person playing must first enter the elevator alone before pressing the button of the 4th floor. They then must descend to the 2nd floor, up to the 6th, down to the 2nd again, up to the 10th, and finally down to the 5th. They must not get out on any floor. After reaching the 5th level, the legend says a mysterious woman will enter the lift, but the person playing must not look or interact with her.
Oh, okay.
Players must then push the button to the 1st floor. 2 things are supposedly said to happen here. If the lift goes back down, the player must leave the building and not look back. If it goes to the 10th floor, once the player leaves the elevator, it's believed they'll be entering a new dimension.
Okay.
So because of her odd behaviour in the elevator and specifically pressing a number of different buttons, some were sort of convinced she was playing the game, but it ended up just stalling the elevator.
Yeah. She was acting a bit sporadic, wasn't she? Literally, when people watch the footage as well, the time code changes, doesn't it? The time.
Yeah, the time code isn't that visible at the start,
and then
throughout the entire video.
It starts
anyway.
running and then it changes, doesn't it? It just flips all of a sudden. So a lot of people thought that it was that someone else was there, potentially what the web sleuths, or that's what they're called, isn't it? Believed was maybe the editing out of the murderer because they believed there had to be a murderer.
Yeah, or someone. She gets out the lift. She does this little square dance thing.
Yeah.
Then she's doing this creepy thing with her hands.
Where they kind of bend.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that does look a bit demonic.
Yeah. Whereas if someone was there, it would be considered a lot less weird, wouldn't it?
She looks like she's speaking to somebody, but then she gets in the lift.
Yeah.
And then goes back out again.
She hides at one point as well.
She hides quite early on. She really sort of gets against the wall and then she moves around to where the control panel
is
around the corner.
Zoom into a little bit of the footage where like it shows you for a second she steps out.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's a shoe and it looks like it's pointing towards the elevator, yet the whole time she's pointing away from the elevator. So it's almost like she couldn't have stepped and twisted quick enough for it to be her. Yeah. So they're like, it was that evidence of someone else.
Shoe.
It could have been anything.
Or cloven hoof.
Could be.
Of a demon.
Could be. But it could have been, that could have been anything, couldn't it?
It could have been.
It could have been her shoe had fell off and twisted round on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, she was in sandals, so maybe.
Yeah.
And then,
it's not that visible. It could have been a heel and it just looked forwards on.
You know, this is the early 2000s. We haven't got 4K glorious 4K Bluetooth out.
Yeah, the camera wasn't great footage.
HD,
was it?
no. It's an elevator camera.
The time thing is a bit sketchy, though.
It is, but then the LAPD did turn around and say, "Well, that's not the footage we actually looked at. This has been edited."
Yeah, it could have been edited.
The elevator door was a thing. Why didn't the elevator door close?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, because of ghosts.
Yeah, well, really. It was because of the button.
Because of the button, or that's just the way the video was edited to compress all of her weird shit into the smallest amount of time possible.
Well, they did say they didn't know if the footage that was spread online was either these detectives are terrible at their job, by the way, in my opinion. No, they're no Gil from Night Stalker.
No, or Frank.
But Frank was like a legend, wasn't he?
No, he's a grizzled cop.
Yeah, he was. God, those guys are cool. We are going to have to do a podcast just to talk about those two. But these detectives, that they are nowhere near on that level. And they literally said, we're not sure whether or not that was edited by the internet community or edited by someone else that put the video out.
Yeah, news agencies.
Yeah, it's like, you should probably know it was your footage originally. Yeah, your evidence.
But they're sitting there just watching that for hours and hours, and they're not going to edit it. They're going to sit down and go, okay, there she is.
Yeah.
Right, go back to there. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, they had to watch it for like a week or something, didn't they? Just constantly watching like 20 hours a day or whatever.
So then
she disappears.
No one knows where she is. The police are called. Her family are there. They travel down to find her. Dad's got a big forehead.
Yeah, his forehead was huge.
You'll find her. Yeah, it's not a problem. She's gonna be somewhere in there.
Yeah,
they search every room.
They either thought she had to be in the hotel because nobody'd seen her leave, or at the very least, if she had managed to leave, she would be somewhere quite local.
Yeah.
So they searched Skid Row. They searched the hotel. Worth mentioning though that there was 18 detectives looking for her.
That's right.
And then because there was a cop killer, wasn't there? It was an ex disgruntled cop.
Yeah.
They decided to kill other cops. So they had to send something like 14 detectives,
something like that,
after him. So they were short-staffed. I'll give them that.
Yes, but So they search this elevator high, search the building, search the hotel high and low,
Room to
every
room,
room to room, the basement,
roof.
the roof.
They took a helicopter to the roof.
Took a helicopter to the roof.
Sniffer dogs.
The whole shebang. No sign of her.
Nope.
And then 17 days later.
Mm-hmm. People start complaining. Before that, people started complaining.
People are moaning with their tap water being a bit brown, a bit blackish.
Yeah.
And
they've been moaning for about a week.
And then the water pressures, we're losing water pressure. I can't run a bath. My shower's got no pressure behind it. Nothing worse than a limp shower.
Yeah.
And the water's brown.
Yeah.
So the janitor goes up to have a look.
Took like a week though.
Took a week, yeah.
I would have been like, this water smells a bit. It tastes a bit
People
off.
were drinking this stuff.
They drink it
brown.
Yeah.
It was brown water.
Yeah. That couple had stayed there for like a week and had been showering and drinking it like every day.
Yeah.
They didn't all of a sudden go, you know what, this water tastes awful. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll carry on showering, but we'll limit how many showers because it smells awful and it looks awful. And we'll go buy bottled water until they fix it. Because maybe a possum or something, I don't know, a raccoon got in there.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just drink bottled water until they fix it, or it's a grubby.
The second you put the faucet on
and it was brown,
and the brown water comes at you, like,
even if it was murky, I wouldn't drink it.
Unless it is crystal clear fucking water, which it is now, by the way. I saw them I saw them drink some water in there.
Yeah. But this is the weirdest thing: is the couple that were staying there. They were like, yeah, when we went there, it was like the carpets were sticky, and it's like, why would you stay there? The water's brown and you're drinking it. Go somewhere else. I know it's cheap, but nothing's worth getting really sick.
No. Fuck me.
I'm surprised people didn't get sick and sue.
Yeah.
The hotel.
So anyway, the janitor goes up. He says that the lid to the water tank was open.
Yeah. Which the detectives say it was closed.
It was closed. He looks in. He sees Elisa floating there.
Upright
on her back, naked.
Which is important. Because usually when people drown, that's not how they drown.
No, it's usually because of the weight of water in the lungs. You tend to sort of go face down in the water.
Arms kind of flopped forward.
Arms flop forward. You're
back in the air.
Back in the air. That's usually the way that you're found.
She was kind of more like a starfish. Just how you when you float in water.
Yeah. Her clothes were there. They were in the bottom of the tank.
Yep.
And R.I.P.
Yeah.
Elisa.
She'd been there presumably for a long time because she started decomposing.
Yes, that's why the water was going brown.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there is many schools of thought on what happened.
Yeah.
I want to talk briefly about, well, probably not so briefly, but the web slews. Now, this became a phenomenon.
Yeah, we need to give like a whole 10 minutes to these fuckers because these guys are just trash.
Yeah. So, because this is the internet age, and the internet age loves an unsolved mystery, and how did this sweet, timid girl start doing? Because remember, at the start, no one knew about the mental issue, the mental health issues. Yeah. No one knew about the drugs.
Evidence was coming out daily.
Yeah. So all they're seeing is this elevator footage of her doing random, weird, ghosty shit with her hands.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, oh my God, that fucking place is either haunted or demonically possessed. Look at all the people that die there.
Yeah.
How did she get in there? Was she possessed and she threw herself in the tank and died?
Yeah.
What was going on?
Yeah. And to be fair, well, just so to clear it up, when I say they're trash as well, I don't mean all of them. Like, conspiracy theorists are fine. I mean, some conspiracies end up being true. The ones I am talking about is the ones that went through all this, became obsessed with it, and started trying to ruin people's lives by accusing them.
Yeah.
That they just, I mean, I thought the whole time while we were watching it, the manager was sketchy, but I'm not going to start sending her messages saying, you're a really sketchy person. Why did you seem so nervous in your interviews?
Yeah. Just briefly talk to the manager. When she found out that she was missing,
they
called the police.
Yeah.
And then they cleared out her room.
Which is really sketchy.
Which is, I thought was iffy.
Yeah.
Surely she's had, presumably, I don't know, maybe 40, 50, 60 murders at this hotel at this point.
Yeah.
Or deaths.
Got to be like 20 suicides.
CSI have to come in. They don't want anything touched.
No. She moves
everything out.
That,
and I've only watched CSI.
Yeah, they bagged everything.
Yeah, it's like a fine tooth comb. They go every centimetre of that room, looking for
Which
anything.
is strange because she was there when she went to the lobby and shouted she was crazy.
Yeah.
She dealt with her when she had to move her out of the original room because she was acting crazy towards the girls, or at least the girls said she was.
Yeah.
So this manager didn't want to call any sort of medical officials to help. Knew she was on medication because she took it out of her room.
Yeah.
And she just thought, oh, okay. She's probably just off wandering somewhere. I'll let the police deal with it. It's like, you probably shouldn't have moved anything. It's probably evidence. There could be fingerprints. The stuff you moved could have had fingerprints that you could have contaminated.
That's it. So it's already skewed as let's say that it's a murder. It's already skewed as an investigation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, if she was I'm not saying she is, but if she was the murderer, she's got fingerprints on everything because she said she moved it out to clear the room for the next person.
Well, exactly. Boom.
So she's cleared straight away.
Then you got this poor chap who called Pablo Vergara.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes.
I feel so bad for this guy.
He goes by the name of Morbid. He's a black metal musician.
Yeah.
Right. Now, black metal, it's pretty grim dark.
Yeah.
It's all about death. It's all about blood and murders and blood eagles.
Yeah.
And burning churches.
Yeah.
Bathory. Started it off the Norwegian black metal scene. All kinds of. And so it's his art. It's an art. Music is art, whatever genre it is.
Yeah.
It's an art form. Because this guy had music videos where he's like bathing in blood and hunting down a woman in the woods.
Doing demonic stuff.
And because this guy had stayed at the hotel
a year before.
Yeah, look, that didn't seem to matter to them.
No, he'd stayed once like a year before.
Yeah.
The death.
They hounded this man.
Yeah, because they found that he posted a video on YouTube of him staying there a year before.
Yeah, a year before Elisa Lam. No, you killed her. You were there and you killed her.
There are two pieces of supposed evidence: was the YouTube video from a year before, and the fact that he released a song like a day after they released it, the fact that they found a body about basically like chasing a girl through the woods and killing her.
Yeah,
and that was enough.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, it was a music video. It was a song and a music video. Yeah, was it a bit of a dark one? Yes. But did it have anything to do with her? No, it was just coincidence.
No. So sometimes these things can be beneficial.
Yeah.
But sometimes, let's face it, 95% of the time, and I'm being generous with 95.
Yeah.
The online community are all dicks.
Well, yeah, it's mob mentality.
Of course.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a conspiracy theory. I mean, I've got a few on what this is. And yours is a bit more logical, I think. But their thing is just pointing the finger. You did it. You did it. Yeah. You did it. You did it. And that's not helping anyone. Yeah, I think the manager looks extremely sketchy with her behaviour and how she talked on the interview. But I'm not going to be like, you did it, you did it, you did it, because there's no evidence to say she did.
No.
And if there was, she put it in a bag.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's probably been burned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened to Elisa?
Yeah.
All right. So official verdict first, I think. Suicide.
That's
accidental or not.
Well, it's not suicide. Their official verdict was accidental death. Yes.
Could be suicide.
They suspect potentially suicide, or that she just hadn't been on the drugs long enough and it was an accident. She didn't mean to do what she was doing. She just wasn't in her right mind. That's the conclusion they came to.
Yes. Because obviously she hadn't taken her drugs, and to quote you from earlier, she was hooked up full of crazy juice.
Yeah, crazy juice. Well, yeah, I mean, the chemicals in it, these tablets are essentially there to help level people out. This is why a lot of people are on antidepressants, because those levels just aren't there, so it just levels you out. And she wasn't taking them. There was actually, they checked the tubs, and there was...
Extra.
Yeah, it was extra.
What she should have
Which is a bit
been
weird
prescribed.
that it was extra.
No, it was just leftovers.
Yeah.
So they're like, she was prescribed 60 on this day.
Yeah.
Before she left, or something like that, and there was like an extra 10.
Yeah, so she wasn't.
So it means that she hadn't been taking them every day. She had extra. She was almost building up in case she missed a prescription.
Yeah,
maybe.
so her mind just potentially her mind just filled with all of the sort of negative chemicals and reactions in her brain, which just caused her to be hopped up on crazy juices, like all the probably not the most sensitive way of explaining it, but that's essentially what a lot of
I like it. I suffer from mental illness. There you go.
Crazy juice.
Yeah, I'm crazy juice. I'm full of crazy juice.
We all do a little bit, don't we?
Full of crazy juice and beer.
Yeah, mostly beer at the moment. But yeah, it just seemed like she wasn't taking her pills. She was acting. The last footage we have of her is edited or not. She was acting very strange,
Possessed by ghosts.
possessed by ghosts and demons, and then she just disappears.
Yeah.
So the detectives are. I mean, I get it. They were understaffed. There was most of the staff were gone. They did a terrible job with trying to find her. They did a terrible job once they did find her. I mean, they couldn't get their story straight about this lid on top of the water tank.
The dogs wouldn't find her anyway in the water. She was in the water.
No, the dogs wouldn't have. But if the water tank was open, they would have seen it because they were up there and there was a helicopter up there, so they would have seen that. If it was closed, then why did the guy say it was open when he went up there? Is he lying? Why would he lie? Seems like a silly reason to lie. So it's almost like if it's true what they say, then they are awful at their jobs.
I like to think that someone was going up there pissing in the water tanks every day is a bit of a fuck you to the staff and the hotel.
And everyone's drinking.
And he was like, so the lid was closed.
Yeah.
Right.
And he opened it.
He opened it to piss, looked down, said, "Oh, morning, first one of the morning." Oh. Looks down, he's like, "Oh, dead body floating there."
Wouldn't his DNA have been on the body then?
Is there DNA in piss?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of water there still, isn't there?
Yeah, true. Very true.
There's I mean, I wouldn't say how many gallons they can hold. I assume a lot.
Yeah. No idea. Yeah, it just seemed weird how they were like, right, the lid was definitely closed when we went up there. And then the guy was like, it was open. And they were like, well, it was closed when we got there again. So you said it was open. Oh, I closed it. Why did you close it?
Yeah.
Why do the staff keep tampering with evidence?
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, people had been on the roof, even though it was supposedly out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a party location. There was beer bottles, pizza boxes everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this place is 15 stories high.
Yeah.
It'd be a great fucking spot.
The dogs they brought in found her sent to the window, so they know she went out the window, and then from there was a fire escape, then a ladder to the roof. So why didn't they go, well, okay, she must have went up to the roof then. So we need to look at the roof again. They didn't. They just stopped looking.
And they should have combed that roof. But then again, there has been 17 days. What they're going to find? If there's been rain, they're going to find nothing.
True. But then, if I was a detective and I was up there, I would be like, right, we've checked every room, we've checked the basement, we've checked any storage.
Check the roof again.
Let's check the roof again because we got a scent on that. Right, okay. So those water tanks, are they closed? Are they locked? Or can anyone access them? Oh, anyone can access them. Okay, I'll go have a quick look then.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother doing that.
No, the lids are closed. It's all right. Now, why aren't the lids padlocked? Because as the manager explained, there was no legislation on locking them, so they just didn't.
Which is wrong, because all those teens were up there partying, so who says...
Yeah, but you're not supposed to be up there anyway, are you?
Who says they ain't pouring beer down there, chucking pizza in there, pissing shit in? And, well, one of the reasons why is because it looked dangerous to get to them.
Yeah,
you had to climb across a thin pipe to get to the one she was on.
Yeah.
Don't know how she got across to that. That's kind of where my conspiracy theory comes in, is I don't know how, if she wasn't in her right mind, that she scaled that thin pipe, because she didn't go and just hop in the closest one to her. She hopped in one further, which seems weird. You'd just go, okay, I'll just open the first one, the one closest to the ladder, just hop in. But she walked across a pipe, hopped over to the next one, opened it up and jumped in.
Because there's a bank of 4, and this one's like to the back and the right.
Yeah, which is like the furthest away.
The furthest to get to from where she would have come up.
So why didn't she
But you don't know what she's seeing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she could be seeing, like, she's walking on this beam and there's lava.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, careful. Yeah.
But it seems just crazy how she got all the way over there, and nobody thought to check at them, and nobody thought to go, well, why did she go all the way over there and then decide on the very last one that would be the one she got in?
Yeah.
Nobody questions that. Nobody questions how, if she did get in of her own free will on her own, if it was closed like they said, how did she close it? She couldn't reach it. She was they said she was like less than 50 kilos or something like that.
Yeah.
So that thing was like £20.
Yeah, it's like £20.
That's heavy. That is.
That's
a lot of weight for someone her size to pick up, flick open, jump in, and it's higher than if she could reach it to close that, she could reach it to climb out. So she obviously couldn't reach it.
Yeah.
There was no damage on her body at all. So
no trauma
yeah,
to the
if
body.
she'd have drowned, most people usually convulse a little bit. So there was no bruising on her, so she didn't headbutt any of the sides. But
she didn't even try and scrabble her way out.
Yeah, there was no
showed damage to her fingertips.
No fingertip
the
damage.
theory on why she was naked is because the clothes got wet and heavy, so she discarded them to keep treading water longer, or B, got hypothermia and took them off.
Yeah,
because that's what happens when you get hypothermia. You remove your clothes.
Yeah.
It's to do with the blood vessels widening.
Yeah.
You get a very period of intense heat.
Yeah.
As your body desperately tries to flood your system with warmth.
So you take your clothes
and then
off.
it loses. So you take your clothes off because you become really hot, and then you just go, oh shit, and now actually the body goes, oh well, you just fucked that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you end up sort of freezing at that point. So.
Yeah.
So. Accidental death, suicide, murdered.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best area. Maybe someone followed her in.
Yeah.
It's I mean, the official verdict is obviously accidental death, but this is a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
Substance abuse was touted, but has been discounted because she had no other drugs in her system.
Yeah.
Apart from the ones she should have been taking, but some of them were missing, so further evidence she hadn't taken her drugs or her tablets. There was a movie called Dark Water.
Yeah, someone thought that they was trying to copy some sort of murder because it was exactly the same as the movie.
Yeah, 2005, they stuck the body in a water tank and everyone was drinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a copycat murder.
Yeah, because it's exactly the same.
Then we have to sort of say, well, okay.
The question,
maybe not. It's a big leap in it.
The question with murdering her is how did they murder her without causing any damage? And that's what brings so much interest to this case, because there was nothing wrong with her body other than decomposition. There was no injuries at all.
Yeah.
So how did she get killed? Like, everyone tried to claim that this morbid guy killed her, but there was literally nothing wrong with her.
There was less evidence to say he killed her than there was that she just killed herself.
Yeah. She had it's not like she slit her wrists. It's not like she tried to force herself to drown. That there's like by bashing her head against the side so you'd knock her out.
Or she'd gone in there, come to, and had a lucid moment and try to get the fuck out.
Yeah, there was.
Or did you think someone will come?
Yeah,
maybe.
It was almost like she was asleep.
Yeah,
because nothing happened to her. It's like, and that's kind of what makes me think it's a little bit sketchy. Not just to mention some of the things that don't add up. Like how she climbed up the ladder, got around that pipe, got into the last one. Why she got into the last one? I mean, obviously, like you said, she's not in her right mind. But how she was able to lift that, because it was quite heavy, jump in. Why she would take her clothes off? Because if she took her clothes off, that would indicate she was conscious and thought well enough to take her clothes off.
I mean, so the basic sort of taking my clothes off, is that a survival thing? Is a survival instinct kicking in?
It is, but there would have been a thought process there. And I think if the thought process is there enough, then why wouldn't they be in there enough to just say, you know what, I'll just get in this first container? Why get in that third one?
But you don't know what she's seeing.
Yeah, so...
I mean, she's hallucinating, clearly.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
She was conscious enough to take her clothes off. Whether or not she was intelligent enough, well, not intelligent enough, free thinking enough, and it wasn't just instinct. Whether or not that, obviously we can't prove that, but she was conscious enough to take her clothes off. So why wasn't she conscious enough to move around or try and climb out or do something to have caused injury to the body? There was no injury at all.
Yeah.
That's what's weird about it, is the lack of evidence. The lack of evidence that she tried to kill herself. That's why they couldn't put it down as suicide. They had to put it down as accidental, because they said that she drowned, but maybe she went through hypothermia first. Maybe she started freezing and she sank to the bottom and then drowned. But there's no injury to her. It's just almost like she was asleep when she got there, sort of thing. Like somebody scooped her up. She was in a deep sleep and they just popped her in the water and she just slowly sank to the bottom and drowned and then just floated back up to the top.
Yeah, it's weird.
But then why would someone do that?
Well, the same reason that anyone kills anyone.
Yeah, but it's such a weird way of killing someone. Like they said as well, is how would you get a body up there? That was the counter argument.
Yeah.
Because it was difficult enough for her to get there. So how do you get her there? Because there was two ways of getting up there. There was a ladder, which they think she used, then the pipe, and then opening the lid, and then you'd have to chuck her in and chuck her clothes in. Very difficult to do that. Or the other option was climbing up the other set of stairs, which led to the building where the door would have been, and dropping her down onto that one, and then chucking her in, which would have been even more difficult because you would have had to scale up a massive ladder.
Yeah.
With a body. And yeah, she was only like less than 50 kilos, but that's still tough to do. You have to be very strong to do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to hear a weird coincidence?
Yeah.
The TB theory.
Yeah, this was one of the big theories. It made it to the list, didn't it? It made it on the show.
Lamb was involved in a tuberculosis test. So some people know that there was a tuberculosis outbreak at the same time on Skid Row, just a few blocks away from the Cecil Hotel. Armchair experts point out that the test for the type of tuberculosis circulating was called the Lamb Elisa.
So it's a big, that was another thing that was so interesting about this case that got so many of these sleuths onto it, is there was so many coincidences.
Yeah.
Like the university she went to, they had like a sort of class where you could learn stuff like that, didn't they?
Yes, yeah.
The tuberculosis and other diseases and stuff.
That's right. They're one of the sort of research places.
Yeah. And there was another one as well, wasn't there? The bookstore or something. If you put the address, it would then lead to her grave or something.
That's right. Yeah, the town where she's buried.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, somebody probably changed that. It's a very awful prank.
Yeah. So some have said that Lamb was used as a biological weapon to help take out the homeless population, and that she was later killed after someone discovered that she had learned too much.
Yeah.
But her autopsy didn't show any signs of tuberculosis. And that's why they're redeveloping the area now, Sean. All the homeless are dead because of tuberculosis, so that people like Donny T can stroll in there and fucking real estate that shit. Can fucking properly develop, upcycle
it. Yeah.
Everyone's living in barns, drinking in Starbucks and skyscrapers. People like fucking Trump killed Elisa Lamb. Trump killed her after molesting her. That's it. I'm figured it out.
That was random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have gone full Alex then.
I like a good conspiracy theory, but there's no evidence of that.
No, there's no evidence.
There's a lot in this case. There's a lot of coincidences, but there's nothing to kind of link that together. Yeah, tuberculosis was spread throughout there, and that's awful that it happened, but it probably happened because of the conditions.
Yeah.
Were so poor and so many people wedged together, it just spread, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, it's not like she was some sort of assassin sent there with a vial that she would put in the drinking water.
No, I think it's what she was unwilling. They gave her TB, she walked around the area, coughed a lot, spread it.
Is it that easy to spread?
I think it is, yeah.
Wow.
That's why you usually have to go to a sanitarium.
Okay.
You get taken out of town and stuck in a fucking walled building.
Didn't realise it was that easy to spread.
I guess it can spread pretty fast.
Yeah, I think that one is a ridiculous conspiracy theory because it just, other than there being some similarities and coincidences, there's nothing there. The morbid one's the worst one because he wasn't even in the country at the time.
No, he was in Mexico recording an album.
He had like multiple evidence which he put online.
Yeah.
And they continued to accuse him. He was like, "This is me recording. This is the timesheet of me recording.
This is my passport stamp.
This is my passport stamp. I wasn't in the country. I have multiple evidence.
I stayed at the Cecil Hotel a year ago. Here's my receipt. Here's my booking thing."
And they were like, "You did it. You did it." Even on the Netflix thing, they said it's obvious he did it. They still believe it now. Yeah. And it's like, it's got to the point where this guy nearly killed himself.
Yeah, and he finds he hasn't
recorded music.
He hasn't recorded music since. No, he's like, that's his livelihood.
Yeah, it's ruined his life. Cancel culture and the mob rule of the internet has ruined his life and nearly made him kill himself.
Yeah.
And there was literally zero evidence of that.
No, there was no evidence at all.
That's even more of a conspiracy than the tuberculosis one. Yeah. The government sent in an asset to kill homeless people. It's even more of a conspiracy than that.
Manchurian Candidate style. She's just controlled by them. She's been brainwashed. Because
that is a conspiracy theory, but there's no evidence to disprove it. At least he can disprove it. He can be like, look, I have evidence.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, 6 ghosts.
Ghosts, yeah.
Ghosts. Lots of people seem to think that there's some supernatural shit going on.
Yeah, well, there was a serial killer that used to go there on his holidays.
2 serial killers that used to go there.
He used to believe in Satanism, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, Ricky.
Yeah.
And was she talking to the ghost of Richard Ramirez, who told her who then murdered her?
Could be.
I think.
Why would he go there on holiday again? Ghost holiday.
Ghost holiday, Cecil Hotel.
Yeah. The Adventures of the Ghost Serial Killer.
You know, it's
What were the other conspiracies? I can't remember. Them was the 5.
That's
That's all of them.
Yeah, we've gone through them all.
Wow. I didn't realize. I thought we'd only done like 2 or 3.
No, we've gone through them all.
Wow. So what's
because substance abuse, obviously, because of her weird behaviour, a lot of people thought but there wasn't anything in her system.
So it's killed herself, substance abuse,
accidental death,
copycat murder,
unwilling government agent,
morbid, which shouldn't even be on the list.
Ghosts, really. And or just someone in the hotel fucking murder.
Yeah. What's your take on it then?
My take is that it was accidental death. I think that she stopped taking her drugs.
Do you think, even if it was accidental?
Oh, it's ghosts.
Even if it was accidental, there was some foul play in the hotel?
Yes, I do, yeah. I think the hotel covered it up. I think they might have known earlier that she was dead.
Yeah.
I think they might have left it a little bit.
Because it seemed a bit weird, didn't it? How they were like, with the lid thing, I know they were like, I must have closed it or something. It's like, you shouldn't be touching shit.
Yeah.
You all know that you should not be touching shit. Why did you move her stuff?
Yes, exactly. And I think there was really, for a hotel that's had so many people die in it,
they would know the procedures.
You think you know the procedure?
Oh, they would definitely know.
I mean, but clearing the room out straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 700 rooms in this hotel.
Yeah.
It's a fucking huge place.
Not telling the officers, oh look, she had some serious mental health problems. She could be missing or dead.
Yeah. Not saying that.
Yeah.
But all her stuff's in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Like, well, search it. Yeah. It should be left as it is, not just bagged up and thrown in lost property.
There was a conspiracy as well that maybe it was some sort of public official, and that's why the police acted so poorly, wasn't it?
Well, yes,
they were covering it up.
Of course.
That was another theory, wasn't it?
Maybe some
because they did such a poor job. I mean, I know sometimes police are under strain and they were understaffed, and I understand that, and they'd spent days staring at this footage, so they were tired. But I mean, if a dog tells you that she's gone out of a window and then the scent goes there, it's because she went out the window.
Yeah.
So go out the window, climb up to the top. What's at the top? Oh, a roof. Okay, so the last location.
Somewhere up here,
the last location is the roof. Let's scour this with a fine-tooth comb and make sure there's not an inch of it we haven't missed.
Let's have a look in them massive water tanks.
Yeah, because
let's actually open them up. Whether the lids are closed or not, let's have a look
in there. Or at least ask if people can get in there.
Yeah.
Be like, wait a sec. You look like you could probably store a body quite easily in there.
Oh, yeah, these things are massive.
Yeah, you could have stored dozens in there.
Yeah.
It's probably why that Richard Ramirez going there so much. Probably used to sit up there with some pizza and a beer after a nice long day of murdering.
His pants covered in blood.
Yeah, and be like,
jacking off.
You know what? I could probably keep some people in there if I needed to.
Yeah. But obviously this becomes spiraled. It's become a massive internet mystery. It's still got, even though it's technically been solved, and sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
The
believed truth.
Chances are she probably just,
because it's not exactly truth, is it? It's what the conclusion they've come to is most likely.
Well, most logical. As best as they can piece it together. But then who says the police are telling the truth?
I don't think they were lying. I think that they mishandled it very poorly. And I think that the hotel staff basically just handled it so badly that they just believed the hotel staff, because I've obviously been there before dealing with other murders.
Yeah.
And they just had, the hotel staff handled it that poorly that they just kind of thought, well, these guys, they've dealt with this before. They know what they're doing. So we'll just come in and search. They said that she was here and maybe she's not now. We'll look out in the streets for a bit, because they did have a look around.
Of course, they have to go and check the surrounding areas, don't they?
I personally point. I mean, I'm not saying that they killed them, but I point the blame on the hotel. The hotel mismanaged it so badly.
Yeah,
the manager should have been investigated.
The family did put a wrongful death claim in, and guess what?
What?
Got thrown out.
Yeah. Which is unfair, because the manager's dealt with this. 80 people have died.
Yeah.
She knows what she knows. It's not her first sort of.
It's not her first rodeo.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. She knew what she was doing. She knew she shouldn't have moved evidence. She knew she shouldn't have tampered with it. She knew that those water tanks aren't locked.
Yeah.
So why didn't she say, take a look in the water tanks? Maybe I know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, she's not in there, but worth having a look. Why didn't she say?
It's just that so much more could have been done, and maybe that was the police being understood. But the hotel staff were like a bit not uncooperative, but not forthcoming.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the water tanks are locked.
If I lived there and I worked there, I'd be like, wait a sec, you know what? This water tastes a bit weird. It doesn't usually taste like this.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go ask the guy to come have a look. Not wait like a week.
Yeah.
I lived there myself. I mean, it's not like if you just work there and you people are moaning, you'd be like, oh, this is a dive hotel. They get what they pay for. Deal with it. But if you live there yourself, you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go take a look at this.
That's it. I mean, if I go and clean my teeth later and the water comes out brown, I'm going to go, Sean, there's brown water at the tap.
Yeah.
Who have you hid in the boiler?
And then we go have a look.
Who have you hid in the water tank, Sean?
Yeah.
Who's in the water tank, Sean?
I'm like, well, the water tank's like 3 foot tall, so someone very small
Scrunched them right up.
scrunched them up. How's the water getting through?
That's why there's no pressure.
Yeah. The pressure's awesome.
Yeah, because that body's slowly dissolving. Anyway,
my sort of theory is that those girls should have been questioned more. They should have. I don't think that she was the one acting crazy. I think that they were picking on her for what
that's still your opinion, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, I just said it's a theory.
Yeah,
it's
theory.
It's as much as a theory that they have. Really,
yeah.
They
it's
have
better than the TB theory.
Yeah, they have the officers have no more proof than I do they?
That's true.
So I think that she was being picked on. And basically that's why she left, because they said, oh yeah, she's acting crazy, she keeps leaving notes. I think she was leaving passive aggressive notes because they were picking on her. I think they saw her medication on the table. That's why she stopped taking it, because she wanted to prove she wasn't crazy. And obviously that started making her act a little bit crazy, so they moved her to the other room. I think the notes on the bed were passive aggressive ways of saying basically, leave me alone, stop picking on me.
Yeah.
And then I think that she wanted to be cool, so she went up to the one night she went up to the top where we know people hung out and drank and partied and eat pizza and whatnot. And maybe they picked on her, and maybe they took her clothes off her, threw them in the tank, and maybe she tried to go get them and they left and thought nothing of it. She climbed up and she tried to get into the tank to get them back, and she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And basically because she couldn't get out, then she tried to maybe lie flat like the teacher so you don't drown. And she basically started freezing and just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And inhaled the water and drowned. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think it was just a prank or bullying her that went too far.
Accidental death, then.
Yeah. That would be my theory. And I think the manager probably suspected there was foul play because she'd been part of it, dealing with the bullying, and because she didn't want that to ruin her reputation, because she obviously wants a career after this working in other hotels.
No, she's a jewelry designer now.
Oh, is she? Well, she was sent there to try and upscale the hotel. She did a great job of doing that.
Yeah. 80 people dead in 10 years.
Yeah. It's a bit weird how she got out of the hotel business after that.
More people died in that hotel in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
They've probably died in Northern Ireland, which used to be a war zone.
Yeah, I would have investigated the girls and I would have investigated her because her behaviour was weird. Yeah. Really weird. Out of everyone that was asked all the questions.
Well, she just looked sketchy.
Yeah, she was nervous. Yeah. She had a nervous laugh. She kept
laughed inappropriately at times.
When they were talking and questions were asked and they said, do you think it was the hotel's fault? She was like, oh, it wouldn't be the hotel. Why would it be the hotel's fault? Like really nervous. Like she knew more. Like they dropped the ball and they covered it up somehow.
Yeah, I go with that. I go with accidental death. I just think it was mental health reasons. They covered it up a little bit because they knew they should have acted in a better way.
For me though, I don't see how it just doesn't make sense how she was undamaged.
Yeah, that is an odd one.
It's
almost like she was dead when she went in.
Yeah. But maybe she took drugs in the bathtub and she fell asleep in the bathtub and she died and they were like, oh, this is going to be really bad for business. Let's move her. Well, where do we move her to?
Yeah, let's set up a mystery. That'll get some tourism to the hotel.
Yeah. So she's got missing for 2 weeks.
Hotels failing. Let's get a murder mystery.
It became really, really famous. People went there loads after that. It's thriving mostly because of that.
Exactly. That's a tragic thing.
Yeah. So it's almost like, well, did she accidentally kill herself? Did she purposely kill herself? Take some drugs, fall asleep in the bath, drown, and then they were, well, this isn't good right now. Let's move her. So they moved other stuff. They moved other evidence.
That's it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, we wrapped that up a lot quicker than Netflix did.
Yeah. 4 hours.
In all fairness, I think they could have done that show in an hour.
4 hours to tell us they didn't know. 4 hours to say we think this is what happened because it's the most logical, but there's still a lot of the stuff that we logically can't prove.
There you go.
We're not sure how she got there. We're not sure how the lid closed, but we don't think the lid was closed, but it might have been closed. It was closed when we got there, but he said it was open, but it was closed when we got there again. But yeah, she's undamaged completely. She was found in a weird way. That was probably water bubbles that caused that, but we don't know.
Yeah.
The water bubbles might have flipped the body maybe to make her up front, but we're not 100% sure, but it could be. It was just a lot of maybes, wasn't it?
It was.
And people, I think that's the problem, isn't it? People want the mystery to be solved. People don't like unanswered questions. And that's why it was basically like, oh, it was just an accident. It's probably likely she got in there because she was having a bit of an episode and she fell asleep, or she just got cold and she fell asleep from the cold and then she drowned. Because we like a nice, easy answer, don't we?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's either way, it's tragic.
It is. It's awful. But you're right. It shouldn't have took 4 hours.
No.
They didn't have any evidence.
No, it was nothing but speculation.
Yeah. It was like it was like a web sleuth. It was like, yeah, this is my opinion. Another web sleuth, this is my opinion. A detective, they're probably wrong, but this is what we think.
Yeah.
And it's like, you should know.
Yeah.
You spent months on this.
You're a detective, damn it. It's in your job title.
Go speak to Gil.
Exactly.
Gil sorted it out for you.
Exactly. Bring back Gil.
Yeah, bring back Gil. We're gonna have to do a Night Stalkers one just for Gil.
Just for Gil.
And also just so we can like have like the cool aviator glasses photo with Gil. I
like it.
I'm just gonna find a picture just with Gil just sitting there with his glasses and his mustache.
I think you've adopted him as your personal saviour.
Yeah. You love Gil as well.
I do.
You were like, man, that guy's awesome. You're like, look at that mustache. You're like, that's a fine mustache.
That's what being a cop in the 70s was, though. It was having aviators, a fine moustache, and beating people up illegally.
And then Frank, you were just like, man, that's a cool fucking cop. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
With a younger footage of him, he's just stood there in his coat, and he's just like, yeah. I'm going to deal with this whole case on my own.
This is the second serial killer I'm chasing. He was like a super cop.
Yeah, he was like, I can deal with this. I don't need a partner. And then Gil turns up, he's like, this guy's all right.
Yeah.
He can roll with me.
Oh,
he's got some good ideas. I like his shoe idea.
I like his moustache.
Yeah.
I need a Mexican partner. I feel like it'd be a good buddy thing.
I like the one cop from it that basically said that he was trying to interrogate his brother. His brother, his cousin,
a friend of Richard Ramirez.
A friend, I can't remember. Was it a friend? Was it? I thought it was like a cousin or something.
Maybe a cousin. Yeah.
And they got him into the back of the car, and he's like, "I'm not telling you." So he starts beating him.
Yeah. I gave him a good one. It wasn't my best.
Yeah.
But because my arm would go back so far and it hit the windshield.
Yeah.
But he goes, it was a pretty damn good one.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, I'll tell you where he is.
Yeah. He's just beating the crap out of him. You can just see in that guy's face.
I want to be a dirty 70s cop.
You can see in that detective's face, he was just thinking, those were the good days.
Yeah.
Before all this bureaucracy.
Yeah.
You could just beat a guy in your car.
No, I can't even call someone a spick.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still a mystery, I guess, isn't it?
That's it. We'll never know for sure.
Yeah, it's something we have to just.
Loves a mystery.
Yeah, it's something we just have to accept. I mean, you can have as many theories or just go, yeah, it's probably just an accident, but we'll never know.
Yeah,
we'll never know because it went on for like 19 days. If there was any evidence, it's gone. It's long gone.
That's it.
And if it was an accident, we'll never know because nobody has any other footage other than the elevator footage. So it's just something we have to accept and move on.
Yeah, I've got nothing more to add.
Yeah.
So on that note, on that bombshell,
yeah.
I've been Ben. Thanks.
I always kind of drop these like philosophical things right at the end, don't I?
Good timing.
Yeah. It's a little bit annoying though, isn't it?
No, because I need a wee.
Yeah. You're like, it finds a way to wrap up the show.
Yeah. So I've been Ben. Thank you very much for listening. Check us out on Facebook and don't drink the Flavor Aid.
And Anchor, SoundCloud, Spotify, any listening sort of provider.
Form a shield wall.
Yeah. I haven't got anything still.
Oh,
It's
man.
been like half a year.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Don't be a serial killer. That's always a good one.
Don't get in water tanks.
Yeah. That's always a good one.
Drink responsibly.
Don't drink brown water.
Don't drink brown water.
Yeah. That should be just
That should be your thing. Don't drink brown water.
Don't drink the brown water.
Yeah, don't drink brown water.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
I kind of want the English couple. I want to ring them up and be like, "Why did you do that for like a week? Why did you drink brown water?
Yeah.
Why?
It was clearly brown.
Health and safety."
Oh.
They were just like, "Oh, we didn't want to kick up a fuss."
At the end of the day, they drank dead girl, and they've got to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. What did we call it? Human soup.
Human soup.
Yeah.
Mummy juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.